Yes, Tiggy was trans, and I love talking about my friend Tiggy, who I met when she was 14 and I was like 15, almost 16. This was like 1977. And we were like trans kids that ran away from Calgary to Vancouver. Well, she had already went the year before and back, and that's why I wanted to go, because she came back looking like this. She went the year before. I went to Vancouver and came back. She was like this little non-binary kid. You know, we didn't have those words back then, and she came back like just this gorgeous like Pat Benatar. She was really into like Pat Benatar looking stuff. And as most of you know, Tiggy unalived herself 1992, and she was, I don't know, 27, 26. The last few years of her life and her transition were really hard because secondary characteristics started kicking in. We were both pretty willy-nilly with our hormones, and luckily, you know, I was, you know, Nordic fair type of thing, so I could get away with it. But she was darker hair, she was Métis, and so she was struggling with hair removal and stuff. And back then, it's not such a big deal now, but back then, it's like it was so hard to get treatment for that. We had an extra room in wherever we lived, like that was like a waxing room, and she'd just wax her whole freaking body because it was coming in that much. And unfortunately, she compared herself with me a lot, and there was like, you know, she even had a lot of resentment. She even talked about that, and I don't blame her because it was so hard, and it was like, unless you were stealth, you couldn't do it. And she started presenting more male the last 2 years, like, and it would really freak her out in her head. And she was longing to have a relationship with her family, and the only way she could do it was to fly 2 provinces over and to visit them, and say that she'd be dressed as a boy. Sometimes she'd even have to bind her chest because she had such amazing chest from hormones, right? Like she was like she had just the Playboy bunny, perfect rib cage and everything, but that hair all over it, and it was it just drove her nuts. And I went into recovery, and the next year she unalived herself. It's really sad. My Tiggy.